Record our conversations.
That's what we do. That's how we do it. Our friendship is purely transactional. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Ice Cream You Meme. You weren't supposed to hear that. Today, we have some lovely stories for you. We're diving way back into early creepypasta days. But first, we have to talk bilk. By bilk, I mean Bingray.
Okay, so we have bilk, tilk. The melon milk, we can go with milk.
Milk? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What is... Okay.
Kilk?
Kilk?
Kilk with the coffee milk, right?
For the coffee milk. So I found it at that one
tilk.
place that we went to in... Well, we got ice cream.
Venetia?
Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was there, but it was like a single one. And then I wasn't going to carry it in my bag the whole day. So I opted out. I opted to drink like a very weird Pepsi drink instead that they had. It was like white peach.
Yeah,
Pepsi
how was that?
Thing. It's like, okay, it's the same feeling that I got when I tried like was it the Coke coffee?
Yes, I remember that.
Oh my god. It is like, at least this one was kind of better because like Pepsi does like the mango Pepsi, which is like it's a Pepsi, but it tastes also like someone dropped a peach ring inside of it.
Okay, that sounds appealing.
Yeah, it was kind of good. So this one was more closer to someone dropped a peach ring inside of this Pepsi.
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel icky. But I unfortunately didn't end up trying the Bingray Kilk.
The Kilk, yes.
Because it was gonna be warm in my bag. So
yeah, that's fair. I where I get my Bingray has been consistently a grocery outlet, and they just have it like, you know, all in the carts in like the 6-packs, and they're all just sitting on the shelf. So I think they are shelf stable. Like the milk, I think is, you know, heavily processed, so it can stand up to it. But I believe I've tried every Bingray now that is available in the U.S., and so
we need to expand our empire.
We do. I know there are some Korea-only flavors, so we don't have any... Well, we have like one Korean listener. Very targeted. Hit me up.
Incredibly targeted. Hit us up.
You. I know you're hearing this. Please.
Yeah.
감사합니다. And thank you, I believe, right?
감사합니다.
Thank you. Yeah.
Please. 제발 주세요. Please give us the goods of the Bingray secret products.
Hit me up. I'll send you a list of the ones that I need to try. But yeah, I've tried the Kilk now.
Kilk
is pretty good. It's
my god.
It's about what do you expect? You know, it tastes like coffee. I think that like the taro is still the top of my list.
Really?
Banana's a solid number 2. And then I'd follow it by like probably strawberry. I think melon's at the bottom of my list. I'll go strawberry, and then coffee, and then melon.
I think
those are all of them. Yeah.
I think banana milk tends to be like the one, like the banana.
Yeah.
The milk tends to be the one for people, but weirdly, like the milk, the milk is my
that's your number one.
Wow. Have you had any of the Bingray ice creams? The Melona,
no.
the fish ice cream thingy.
Did they have those at the sushi place up by very hyper local here? Yosushi has those, right?
Yeah, Yosushi
yes,
has
I have
them.
had those. Yeah.
They started having them also at the Korean barbecue here.
Okay.
And when I was at Davis, I would always go to the Asian store and, you know, the assorted Asian people store. And I would always get the red bean one. And that's always the one that I recommend to like everyone. The red bean fish. It's very good.
I do like red bean.
It's
I'm down with it. Yeah.
And then if you ever get the Melona like ice cream, the banana one is good. But once again, I'm very like melon banana. Yeah.
I didn't like dislike the melon flavor, to be clear. It was enjoyable, but it was definitely like low on my power ranking.
Wow.
So no hate to the melon lovers out there.
Especially to our single Korean listener. If you are a melon head, yeah, I'm on your side. Send them to me instead.
JD will gladly take the melon Bingray.
Melon Bingray. I will take all the freaking fish. Not the, like, don't send a fish.
Yeah.
Unless it's the bread, not the ice cream form. But yeah, we gotta expand our milk empire. Because I want the one that they had the banana milk one, but in the plastic one that looks like a Yakult bottle. And I was like, I fucking want this, but I know that if I get it, I won't throw away that kind of thing.
The container.
Like a fool. Yeah. I'll put pencils in it.
I mean, it's reduce, reuse, recycle. It's responsible. It's plastic. You don't want to just throw that out.
And it's huge.
Yeah. All our hoarder listeners, I'm sorry for enabling you right now.
Enabling right now, but
yeah.
I literally love that. Yeah. Freaking Bilk has taken over.
Yeah. All the Bilk.
Well, during one of our streams, one of my friends said, like, the second I stepped into your stream, all I heard was you guys talking about Bilk. I was like, yeah, Bilk has taken over the pod.
It fits. Okay, we're a cream adjacent podcast, and so we're gonna talk dairy products. That's gonna happen. We're gonna cream it. We're gonna cream it. We're gonna cream it up.
Wait, have you frozen it yet?
I got to do that. I got to do it. I got a couple. I'll freeze it tonight.
Oh my god. The Bilk frozen?
Yeah.
Good. Especially like as it melts and you're just like, you have just a chunk of the fucking box shape.
Solid Bilk.
Yeah. Silk. Wait, no, that's the strawberry
last
one.
Longer. That's a strawberry one.
Yeah. The strawberry one could be Stroke.
It could be Stroke. Yeah.
Stroke. But yeah, Ben, do it. It's so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I might drink one later after this.
I think I got it. Yeah. I mean, really, it just makes me want more Bilk. And that's all our conversation has done so far. Everybody, we are not sponsored by Pink Ray. We have not seen a cent.
Single cent. We would love to be sponsored by the Bilk makers, Pink Ray.
Yeah. Give us
I Bilk,
bucks.
you Bilk.
Because we just talked about it for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
We should probably get to the podcast part.
That was really for our one Korean listener.
Yeah, and us, and us, of course, and to indulge our love of Bilk.
Okay. Oh God, get right into it.
Yeah, because today we're doing throwback. Today, I'm getting into another icon of creepypasta history. One who is like, he's right up there with Slenderman. There's even like a Slenderman crossover, which we'll have to cover at some point because I'm sure that's going to be great.
Was he featured in that one guy, the Barnes Guys story crossover? Was he there at all?
He was mentioned, I believe. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jeff the Killer. He's everywhere. Something I didn't realize before. This is kind of a tidbit. I didn't fit this in anywhere else. I think that Jeff the Killer was inspired partially by Ishi the Killer. Did you ever see that?
I don't think so.
Japanese kind of gore movie where there's like a hitman and he has like his cheeks are cut open. And there's like a part where he like bites a guy's hand off. It's gory. It's super over the top. It's kind of silly. It's like almost like kind of cartoonish. Like sometimes like the Japanese like splatter stuff is just so over the top. But the guy was like, yes, if we was inspired, we'll get to him. We're going to talk about this guy a lot. We're going to talk about this creator a lot. So you may not have heard the lore, which, sorry, this wound up being a way more in-depth section than I meant for it to be. So we will probably do maybe like a reading of the creepypasta itself in the future and some analysis of that. But if you've hung around online enough, you've probably seen his face. It's a white face with no nose, a very wide grin, and eyes surrounded by dark circles. Not like mine, like fully dark circles. I think, JD, I apologize. I think we're going to have to show the clip. You can look away. I'll just share.
I fucking hate this guy. Tell me when it's done.
Yeah, and there we go. Okay, and here we are for the listeners. Take a look and appreciate this piece of art. And that's it. Okay, I think that's
fucking hate him. Keep that in there and show them I'm a coward.
I think that's my one share. So before we get into the kind of background of where the image went, I think we should get into the history of the image. And also, this is your content warning up top. This story covers image board activities and deep esoteric shit posts from the early to mid 2000s. And there's a lot of problematic shit. So if you don't want to hear that, skip ahead until you hear more JD than me. probably 20 or so minutes, somewhere around there, because where the image comes from is actually still a mystery. That's right. We've got some lost media in the mix here. There is a dedicated subreddit, r/original JTK image, which has put together a 43-page report on the origins of the image, complete with interviews and image analysis. The report finds that there were two versions of what would eventually become the Jeff the Killer image circulating around Japanese forums in 2005. The version they refer to as Jeff the Killer 1 is very similar to the now iconic Jeff the Killer image, but with the editing of the mouth and is not there, and the eyes appear to be Mr. Potato Head eyes. Have you seen this?
I will say, okay.
Yeah.
Did you crop the image at all? Or is that like the regular image?
That's the regular image.
Is this like my like Mandela effect thing? Because I remember it being a little farther away and there being some like black space around it, like a bedroom situation.
Yeah, you can. So you can kind of see there's like some clothes behind the face. And I do have to share this because this is the older version of it. I think this one is much less scary.
I don't care.
But yeah, it's the one I just described. It's the Mr. Potato Head eyes edit. So this was floating around, I think, before the now infamous image. And now we will take this down so JD can come back to the thing.
Too early.
All right, and stop the share. Okay, cool. Almost exited the call.
that was still scary, I fear.
It's not great. I mean, so that one, the first instance that they've been able to identify was from July of 2005. And then the earliest instance of the classic image, which is the image with the dark circle eyes, that they were able to find was on a Japanese image board, pya.cc, with the caption that translates to scary. Ah ha 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 ha. Both versions of the image went around Japanese image boards for years, primarily as a jump scare image. The image was often associated with containing a computer virus. The researchers on r/original JTK image contacted multiple users of these image boards and found a few leads from where this image may have originated. The main theories are that it was an edited screen capture from a Japanese variety show that aired somewhere between 2000 and 2004. And then the alternate theory is that it's an edit of a webcam photo from a woman who posted on these image boards, though that identity so far has been impossible to confirm. The image analysis conducted does seem to indicate that it's a webcam image, and while there's been no confirmation of identity, the most likely option is a woman known on some of those image boards back then as Mariko. Mariko was first posted online by someone claiming to be her boyfriend, who went by Suzakumaru, who posted images of her, quote, diet diary and her attempts to lose weight. So the image board users quickly started to mock her for her weight, and there were multiple threads about her in May 2004, referring to her as the net idol who would surpass Sonoko and Terumi. According to this theory, the creepy edits were made from one of those images that Suzakumaru, I have a hard time with that name, shared. Suzakumaru, but not really, because Suzakumaru attempted to scrub the initial Mariko post, so there's been no way of positively matching the images or videos to the Jeff the Killer images. There's some suspicion that Suzakumaru may have edited the images himself, since he was known to produce paranormal hoax images as well and post those. There's a parallel rumor on the English internet that the image was created on 4chan's B random board to harass a girl named Katie Robinson. In most tellings of the story, Katie eventually took her own life because of the harassment. This is because somebody posted on 4chan's B board claiming to be Katie's sister, shaming them for photoshopping Katie, and that her sister had just committed suicide. She then posted a picture of her, air quotes, sister, Katie. But it was actually another girl whose photo was taken off of her MySpace and used to make a fake Katie Robinson profile. So as far as we know, Katie Robinson does not exist. And the girl whose photo was stolen from her MySpace was annoyed that the photo was stolen because she kind of got, harassed about it. But otherwise, she's fine. They caught up with her like in 2020. She's doing okay.
Okay.
Overall, it seems like the evidence points to this image originating on a Japanese image board, as that is where the earliest instance of the image is available, as well as earlier edits from that same base image, right? Like the Mr. Potato Head thing is out there. And that's even earlier than the current one. But the mystery is still open. We don't know the origins of the base image, and we still don't know who the creators of these early edits are.
Damn.
And aside from this other kind of hobby and bizarre behavior of Suzukimaru, there is no real evidence that he was the one to do it. The fact that he made paranormal images. So Japanese listeners, we know there's a couple of you, and you all have a chance to crack this case. The Google Doc also says there's going to be an $11,000 bounty if the original image is discovered, so go get it. But unfortunately, we must now leave the esoteric space of early 2000s Japanese image boards and enter the esoteric shitty spaces of the English internet in the early 2000s, because now we have to talk about the origins of Jeff the Killer. So we're going to flash forward about 3 years to 2008 and a little website called Newgrounds. For those of you unfamiliar, Newgrounds is a website hosting user-generated games, videos, and artwork. It's been around forever, but the late 2000s were the peak of its popularity. The association of the image with the concept of Jeff the Killer started there, with a user who went by Killer Jeff on Newgrounds, and he went by Sessor on pretty much all of his other socials. To keep things clear, and because his more frequent name is Sessor, we're going to be calling him Sessor, even though that majorly fucks with my lisp. So you're welcome, everybody. Now, there are people who claim that Killer Jeff and Sessor are not the same person. To them, I would like to point out that Sessor's DeviantArt is linked to his Newgrounds page, and they feature a lot of the same images. And basically, everything indicates that it's the same person. I don't know why people are suspicious about it not being the same person. It's the same dude. Sessor's Newgrounds posts are a string of horror stories and horrific descriptions of how horny he is for Mario villains, especially the Koopalings, Bowser's children. Now, we do generally have a no kink shaming policy here on Ice Cream You Meme, but I would like to propose a lolly exemption for that role. Is that I'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say gross. Gross. Anyway, between the Rule 34 images, Nazi roleplay, and one gore image that I was able to find, Sessor started posting the now infamous image along in a post titled LOL on August 10th, 2008. And here's that post in the entirety. Quote, okay. I am such a cam whore. After finding my picture on ED, I got very upset, and I deserved it for putting Dragon Grief's picture there too, and making those horrible insults about him. Encyclopedia Dramatica begged me not to take them off, and I decided not to, because I would seem like a dick towards them, and they got dirt on my little secrets involving peanut butter, so it's all good. Killer Jeff. The story of old Jeff. He enjoys horror such as ghost stories or slasher films. Have you ever met him in person? This man is what other people call bizarre. He's like Bloody Mary game, except you must perform it in the closet, turn off the light, sit down and cross-legged, repeat this saying 3 times while turning your head back and forth. He's in here with me. After the saying, close your eyes and call out, name Jeff. He'll appear by putting his face right up to you and proceed to yell and try to chant harm at you. To make him stop is to stand there and compliment him. Not doing so will result in a nightmarish field trip. You do the rest from there, worms. So, slightly different from what we now think of as Killer Jeff. Encyclopedia Dramatica was kind of like another shit-posting troll farm place on the internet. I don't know if they're still around. They posted a lot of like gore, and I think there was like a lot of CP stuff there. Ooh. There was kind of up there with 4chan as generally being viewed as like, kind of a dirtbag place on the internet. Mm-hmm. 4 days later, Sessor posted the same image on a post called Hi, I'm Killer Jeff, and the text, I'm a nice guy. And then on September 12th, 2008, he created a post called Saw with the Mr. Potato Head version of the image and the text, only SpongeBob style. Hope you like it. Took me 1 hour to make it. Also, that is not the only pictures I have. Have fun. Because acid will do this to your face. Never handle acid, or you just might end up looking like me. Scary. It's very, very spooky. Now, you may be picking up that Sessor is now role-playing as Jeff the Killer. So a month later, on October 3rd, 2008, Sessor posted a YouTube video. His channel was taken down for copyright violations because he used a Pixies song in the original. I couldn't find a song. I just found that people were like, yeah, use the Pixies for like this video. And so that's why it got taken down. But he created a new channel and re-uploaded the original YouTube video with like kind of a generic stock song in 2019. It's a slideshow of images with text on the screen. So here we have word for word, Sessor's often forgotten origins of Jeff the Killer. Quote, Jeff the Killer. You might be wondering how his face looks that way. It's a long story. I'll tell it to you soon. Jeff's brother Liu. He was very popular and a ladies' man. He's a very nice guy once you have a beer with him. Jeff in his mid-teen years. In this picture, he was teasing him by wearing his glasses. This picture of a guy wearing glasses. Jeff was indeed doing the world a favor and killing the humans that infest this world. He'll fucking gut you. Me and Liu took this picture, by the way, and it's like a photo of a spider. Like, it's like a spider nest in like a corner of a ceiling. And also, no, the fuck he didn't. I found that image again. He didn't take that image, to be clear. I just need to poke holes here. Jeff is also good with children. And then he inserts a photo of a van marked free candy. This is the whole story so far. Jeff was hauling a gallon of acid into the bathroom to clean out his bathtub. He slipped on a bar of soap, in which he fell, and the acid splashed all over his face, damaging his face. The neighbor heard his cries for help and took him to the hospital. Liu was at work, but came over to the hospital as soon as he heard what happened to Jeff. Never again was Jeff the same. Harrowing stuff, for sure. Very creepy. There's a slightly more fleshed out version of the story on his DeviantArt. And here's a little excerpt for that for flavor. I think this one was written later because the writing is much more fleshed out.
Okay.
The plumbing was horrible at my home. The shower and toilet was stopped up, so the solution was to buy some of that sulfuric acid and pour some down the drain to break up the nasty stuff in the bathtub drain. I opened the bottle and poured the contents into a bucket. No idea why I did that. Maybe because I don't know dick about plumbing. Well, the acid stinks like holy hell, and to think my plan of that say was to hold my breath and carry it to the bathroom and pour it in the tub. I walked the bucket to the bathroom. The bathroom was partially flooded due to the water overflowing. The bar of soap was mushed into the floor, and I slipped. My instinct was to secure the bucket from spilling, but guess what? The bucket was emptied all over my face and neck. The pain didn't hit me right away. The shock almost froze time to tell me, and I'm going to be in a world of hurt. Then the pain hit me. It was very agonizing. The acid was dripping into my eyes, making me see blur and red. I was throwing myself around on the floor, screaming in pain. It felt like my face was being eaten by 1,000,000 bugs. So, I wish I could say the creepypasta was better. And I can. But, as we can see, not a high bar. So this is not, the creepypasta is the main version that people know. Cesar's version, less known, came out earlier, much less known. And Cesar has lamented this on his DeviantArt in December 2023. So he's still feeling the sting of this. It's great that Jeff is getting recognition from notable names such as Creepcast and the hilarious Meat Canyon. It's a shame they don't know the context behind how Jeff was made, who made it, and the original story. Perhaps one day, when any of them find out I'm the creator, I could answer any questions they have about Jeff or anything else. I'd keep talking until they're satisfied. So, Meat Canyon is a Hunter Hancock, and he is one of the co-hosts of Creepcast, so you're kind of double dipping your credits there, bud. And they did talk about him on the Creepcast episode. I listened to it, and they do mention Cesar. They kind of write him off pretty quickly as, like, this guy wrote an earlier version. It's not the one that people know. Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, not here, though. Not here. Cesar, you're getting your time with us. Cesar is a bit protective about the origins of the Jeff the Killer story and the image, which he still maintains was his creation. And he's done this in online exchanges, including on the original Newgrounds post, where he has continued to respond to comments through 2023. So those 3 posts, he's still going. He will still comment on them if people are active there. So here's a bit of his explanation of how the image was taken. Yeah, 2005 was the day the mask was on, and then the second being photoshopped. It was originally nameless till I saw it again on Encyclopedia Dramatica in 2008 and decided to use it and call it Jeff the Killer because it seemed like it was getting traction and it was being on a well-known site. Thus, I decided to see if it can be a popular internet pick. In 2011, he became very well-known. I felt like a movie star, despite my face being hidden behind that mask. So when he was asked, why he posted to a Japanese site in 2005, he responded, "No, it was simply posted on the website in 2005.
The first time they were ever posted was, if I recall, September of 2005. It's been so long, I wrongly remembered it being made in 2006. LOL. I reunited with it on ED and decided, hey, let's make a story out of this. It's a damn shame the mask was misplaced and lost in one of the homes. Really sucked. When asked what happened to the mask, he said, it's long gone now. The original place I left it has been cleared out too. I'll miss that home. If I had known the mask would be as popular, I'd have kept it safe and sound. I might just make a replica better than the original that would just fall apart with the slightest of movement. And that the mask was misplaced, neglected right after the pictures were taken with them. And when pressed further, he pretended to be dead. I unfortunately have to inform whomever posts on Killer Jeff's account that the owner of said account has passed away Sunday morning. He was survived by his 3 children, brother, and woman of the children's mother. Huh? Killer Jeff will be sorely missed. Rest in peace. So why would you need to inform the person posting on Killer Jeff's account by posting on Killer Jeff's account? Killer Jeff? To clear things up, let's be clear. He's still alive. He continued to comment immediately after. He just didn't like that people were poking holes in his story. So, let's give a little taste of the creepypasta, the thing, because Sessor does not claim to have written the famous creepypasta, probably because he cannot. So he's stuck being the Hydrox cookie to the creepypasta's Oreo. And what an Oreo it is. When Jeff the Killer, the first iteration of the creepypasta, was added to creepypasta.com, users felt it was too poorly written and should be taken off the website. It was moved to a site for trashy creepypastas, but so many people were trying to re-upload the story to creepypasta.com that they eventually decided to host a contest to rewrite Jeff the Killer. So the winner of that contest was Kay Banning Kellum, and today that's the most well-known version of the story. But we're not going to be looking at, the polished turd here. We're going straight to the asshole, baby. So here's a quick summary of that original creepypasta. So 13-year-old Jeff and his brother Liu, and this was eventually changed to Louis, or L-U-I, moved to a new town. Liu gets his ass beat by knife-wielding bullies, and Jeff beats the bullies up. Liu gets blamed for the fight and arrested. Mm-hmm. Jeff feels guilty and runs back into the bullies, and then he's burnt by a mixture of vodka and bleach. This disfigures his face, and yes, it bleaches his skin fully white. It also drives him mad. Jeff gets out of the hospital and cuts a permanent smile onto his face, a la Heath Ledger's Joker, and cuts his eyelids so that he can always see his face. Then he kills his parents and Liu, but not before he says his trademark line, "Go to sleep." Then he vanishes from the house on a killing spree and appears in other creepypasta crossovers. I think it's clear the author of the original creepypasta was partially inspired by Sessor's story. We've got Jeff, and in the original version, it was Liu. And, over time, this has shifted to Louis, which is, again, spelled L-U-I, which I guess is supposed to be like Louis. I'm not really sure. Louis? I'm not sure why the change. Cesar has long had notes about the creepypasta. He doesn't think that it's in character for Jeff to kill his brother. And he also thinks that the idea of his face being burned off and bleached by alcohol and bleach is stupid. He prefers his version where Jeff slips on a bar of soap and spills acid on his face, and then he bleaches his skin white with hydrogen peroxide afterward for the aesthetics.
All right.
Which I have to say is also fucking stupid. I think that the creepypasta author built on Sessor's work, not that, it was that much of a building. But I think that what drew attention, what has more enduring legacy, is just the image itself, right? Mm-hmm. It's an enduring image. It's even an iconic one. It's driven some to try to claim credit for it and associate the fame of the image with themselves. It's driven some to write stories, while others have sought and continue to seek information on its origins and dedicated hours to its analysis. It's led to many rumors and urban legends, from cursed images to bullying campaigns and serial killers. And I think that the life cycle of this image really encapsulates the early 2000s internet, where one image could have this life cycle and draw enough injury to get lore built into it that people actually saw. So that's what we got. That's the Jeff the Killer image story. Mm-hmm. And we'll get into the actual story later.
Well, okay, yeah. When you were talking about the stuff by homie Killer Jeff Cesaro, I was like, wait, did I listen or? Because I didn't read the creepypasta. I heard it on a podcast that reads creepypasta. I was like, wait, did I just not get the correct Jeff the Killer story, but okay, I got the explanation. Cool.
Yeah. So his came out a couple of years, couple of years before the creepypasta itself, or the famous creepypasta. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, we really don't know.
We don't know.
Where this fella came from.
Yeah. I think it was interesting to me. It definitely made it seem less scary. The more I researched it, I don't know. How are you feeling after that? Are you still scared?
I feel like I love knowing this and all that stuff, but I can't. I hate the picture. I hate how close our friend Jeff is, or whatever. I just hate it. I hate it still.
I think it is like the image is a really good image. Like it's one of those ones in like internet horror. It's like right up there. I feel like that's like one of the first things you think of. Yeah,
that and Smile Dog.
Smile Dog, like, right.
Those are the that like in terms of like iconic like creepypasta or horror images. It's like the Squidward like big dark deep eyes from Squidward Suicide.
Yeah, right.
Jeff the Killer. The Link image from like the Ben Drowned, Smile Dog, and then like those ones are like the ones. So this is
for
like
sure.
Hall of Fame image type shit.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I think it's interesting that like all those Hall of Fame images are at least like 10 years old now.
Yeah.
Like they're like, and in the case of Jeff the Killer is like almost 20 years old.
Yeah, almost.
Like it's been around for a while. Yeah.
Damn. And I don't know of any like recent type Hall of Famers. We could have them now that they'll be Hall of Famers like 15 to 20 years from now. You just don't think of them that way. It's hard
to tell. I mean, I think there's like the Mandela catalog stuff is probably up there as like iconic images. And also like a similar level of kind of mocked by like online horror people as like the Jeff the Killer one, because it became like kind of a punchline.
Yeah.
But I guess, I guess it's like that shift to more video and kind of like these newer eras of online horror are less image focused and more video focused. So maybe that's why we don't have the single.
Yeah. We don't have. Yeah. And I think it's hilarious that it was so badly written that they were like, you know what?
No, this does not belong here.
Was it on Troll Pasta?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we're talking about Troll Pasta. I thought you were going to start talking about Troll Pasta. I was like, Ben, shut up. That's mine.
No, I want that. Touch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Something deeply badly written. The contest was held to rewrite it. That is very funny to me. So that's the one that, like, people, I guess, are, like, reading on their podcasts. Yeah, that's the one that we'll read as well, because it's better. It's definitely better written than, like, the other versions I was able to find. Yeah. And then the 2-minute Cesar video one. Yeah. Okay. And I feel like, I don't know if I'm misremembering this and if it's like a different guy, but is there like a girl version of
Jane the Killer?
Yeah.
Jane the Killer, I think, is a spin-off character kind of. It didn't come up at all in like the creepypasta or the kind of the lore discussions. Yeah. So eventually we will discuss Jane the Killer, but not within this context. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. I think Jeff the Killer was one of the ones that in terms of like, if it was like built down, like condensed down into a movie-ish, I think it'd be like very like interesting as a thought, but it like formulaic, like, you know the movies that are like main character's sibling or close friend gets bullied, they exact revenge on that and it goes bad. But I think it's a cool little twist.
It's very cliche.
Yeah.
It's pastiche, maybe is like a nicer way to say it. Pastiche. It's very, they pull a lot of, there's nothing that you wouldn't expect happens in there.
Yeah.
I think it would be a fun, like really trashy, like slasher.
Yeah.
I think that's where it belongs. It's just like kind of grindhouse shit.
Slasher.
Flick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. No prestige here. Just full trash, but enjoyable trash.
Yeah. Like, I think if it leans into the camp, like, of it all, I think it'd be like a classic. It'd turn into a classic.
Yeah. So what do you think about like the face, how the face gets burnt? Do you prefer the vodka and bleach or the slipping on a bar of soap for the movie?
I think because of the way that I consumed it. I didn't read it, so it didn't like the words were not in my face that I was like,
Yeah.
huh? But as the person was reading it, I was like, damn, that's crazy. So maybe I'm kind of like leaning and liking the vodka burned seared because
the bully fight I think is definitely, for a story perspective, works better. It drives the whole kind of revenge crazy factor. And like that kind of aspect of it, which I think is crucial for the slasher and the whole brother revenge narrative, because otherwise what's missing from Cesara's thing is a motivation or like really any plot. It's just like an accident happens, that's it.
And it's kind of a silly, like Cesaro, like kudos to like thinking about
screwball
it. It's like a comedy like spin-off of the slasher film. It's like the scary movie version of the slasher flick.
It's already like parodying itself, kind of, where it's like, how did I burn you want to know how I got these cars? I slipped carrying a bucket of acid. And like he got very defensive about the acid thing, because people were like, why would you even have like a gallon bucket of acid? He was like, if you were an adult, you would know that like cleaning with acid is like normal, and like that's something like everyone does.
Are you trying to make mustard gas? What the fuck is going on?
I personally I looked it up. There are like, people do use certain acids as like bathroom cleaners. I don't think it's as common as he thinks, though. I don't think it's like in every person's cleaning repertoire to acid down, and definitely not by carrying a gallon bucket open. I think they come in like bottles.
I think if you were doing it, you already have the acid in the bathroom with you, and you're pouring it from the bottle. You're probably wearing a mask. You're probably like safetied up. There's
some safety procedures to follow that I think the original Jeff the Killer was not, for sure.
Yeah, so I like the. I once again, I think it's because I listened to it on a podcast reading, like the way that the person was reading, like the fight sequence, like at the birthday party situation. I was like, okay, this is a painting.
The creepypasta, I think, has to be the one that gets turned into a film.
Yeah.
Into a trashy slasher, because
and then maybe there's like an after the credits version where it's like the low budget like reshoot of it, of like, oh, it's the actor
as it was intended. Just like
so it's like, oh, wink wink, if you stay after the credits there's a little clip, but also there's a clip after that where it's like the same actor who's doing the original one as a nod to like Cesaro. So I think movie wise the rehashed version is fantastic. As a scary movie, like comedy spin, the Cesaro's thing is the one, but I do prefer the way it was the face happened in the rehash
in the fight. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
For non-comedy purposes, it's better.
For non-comedy purposes, I like that one a little bit better. Oh my god. Jeff the Killer. Crikey.
JTK, still out there.
I don't know. Everybody get on that. Try and find it. God. Like, would you? Okay, like, I feel like this is the case for a lot of things that we cover for, like, the stuff that isn't found. Like, would you, like, say you made it, it's been almost 20 years of your silence. Would you then go, like, yeah, I fucking made it? Or would you just be like, fuck it?
I feel like it was made as like a shit post. I don't think anyone, like whoever made it, really gave a fuck. I think that they probably haven't. Like, there was something where like one of the Japanese users was like, "Oh, I was really surprised when I found out this was like a big image in like America and like the West. Like, we don't." I remember this like in floating around as kind of like a gotcha image, but no one really gave a fuck, and it like blew up, out here, but. Probably whoever made it was just like, oh, okay, made it, and then like forgot about it because it's been 20 years.
Yeah,
and they just, Let me make fun of this woman was probably with my quick Photoshop skills.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Would you reveal that you were the creator?
If I was doing it because it was like bullying, I would be like, guys, I'm so sorry. I made this while I was a jackass.
Yeah.
And it is an act of bullying. I'm very sorry. If I made it because I was bullying and I was a dickhead and I'm still a dickhead, I'd be like, yeah, I fucking made that shit.
So either way, you claim it.
Yeah, I'd either say sorry or be like, yeah, I fucking made that shit. Fuck that shit.
I think if I were the creator and I came across Cesar claiming that he made it, I would. And I read through more of Cesar's posts, I would be like, nah, the fuck you didn't.
Exactly.
Homie. Yeah.
I think, I would do that. I'd be like, hey, Cesar, this is the original base image, and this is what I did to get it. So did you make it, actually?
Did you make it? Where's the mask? What happened to the mask, bro?
What home did you lose it in? Yeah, I think I'd, if I was just like a casual person who made it, and I saw this, I'd be like, do I want to do this today?
Yeah.
Do I want to rush someone's shop today? I think it would be kind of funny, but then also like, do I just keep because then if you even taught Cesaro like privately, then Cesaro would have like okay, so if you're like, hey, I actually am the one who made it, I have all the files and Cesaro's like, sure, did you? Or you just taunting me and then you accidentally give him the files, now Cesaro has it. Now
Cesaro's like, I told you guys I had the files the whole time. So, I just came across them.
Yeah, you could do them either publicly and be like, Cesaro, you fucking shithead, I made this shit, you did not. Or I don't know. I'd probably do. I'd say if I was sorry about it and if it was like a bullying thing, but also if I was still a dickhead bully.
It's a full
full
yeah.
Context. My god.
Shall we continue our old timer?
Yeah, we're going
our
old
Unk episode.
Today. Our Unk episode. Yeah. Oh god, as mentioned, the bad version of the Jeff the Killer pasta ended up on a different pasta site for places that as a place that has all the bad pastas, whether on purpose or not on purpose. We're talking about our bestie troll pasta. But before we talk about troll pasta somewhere deep in this story, we're going to talk about a very specific one. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of this one. So, Bob, you're with our EP hanging out when the phone rings and you answer it. And the voice is saying, what are you doing recording a podcast? And you tell our EP and she says, you don't have a podcast. Yeah. Then who was podcast, Ben?
That's a good point. Who's Bob as well?
Deal with it. As of like a meme format or like as a meme thing, does that sound familiar to you in any way? If so, do you know-ish when you first heard it as far as you remember, or if you like ever read it anywhere online kind of thing?
I for sure read it. I don't know when. I feel like it's been floating around for a while, right? This is not a new format.
Yeah, that's not a new format. Yeah. For me, I didn't ever see the original version of it, like in the the Who Was Phone stage. I did see it as the the Joseph Ducroix like archaic rap version, which was like, you know, the fancy painting guy he's like this.
Oh, like the guy who's the dandy kind of guy.
Yeah,
who's,
like, the dandy
pointing.
who's like, right. I saw that version of it, and I just kind of assumed that was like, it's a translation of like some meme that like people have been saying online, and I don't really need to know that much about it. So, with that reference, we are once again continuing to go through ancient memes, ancient aliens. So, everybody, Who Was Phone goes like this. And I'm going to try and read it as it's spelled, but it's whatever. It's
hard to capture. I get that.
Hard to capture. Okay. You can read it on the script. So you're with your honey and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it in the voice Bioche is, what are you doing with my daughter? You tell your girl and she say, my dad is dead. All caps. Then Who Was Phone? And in this instance, the very first time I did this, I typed that out, and instead of copy pasting it, and autocorrect on Google was very deeply
flagging it.
It was just like red squiggly line. And according to Know Your Meme Archives, our future possible employer, this was predated by this bigger block of text, which was okay. So basically, it's like this. You're at a friend's house for like the night or whatever, and then you guys are making out on the couch, parentheses, parentheses, close. And then like her dad calls on the phone and says, no, she likes it more if you use the other hand. Yeah. And you're all like, oh, dude, your dad is trying to give me advice on how to diddle you. And then she's like, I don't have a dad or whatever. But what? Who is phone? So that was a little bit more fleshed out.
This reminds me of that famous T-shirt that we see every time we go to Venetia. That's like,
everything you do to my daughter,
everything you do to my daughter, I do to you, brother. Yeah.
I bet it's still there. No, I should have checked when my brother and I were there.
We'll be the ones to buy it eventually.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy that shit, okay? But yeah, to me, this is sort of reminiscent of that whole like thing where like, if you're here, then who's driving the bus or who's flying the plane bit in movies, but leveled up to like a creepypasta joke critique thing.
Yeah.
Who is phone is considered a troll pasta, which is a pasta that is written badly, often utilizing overused tropes, plot devices, character types in the story to like either critique, comment, or just shoot the shit. The meme is pretty influential in its simplicity and the whole play on the typical story beat of X interacts with Y. X mentions this to Z, and Z tells X that Y never existed, or that you never interacted with Y. Ooh, spooky. I'm going to read an excerpt of an example of one of the derivatives, but the less offensive version for me to read out loud from the Know Your Meme profile, which is the verbose edition, which is another type of like a meme format, meaning it's the meme has been made to be very wordy, over-explained, and just straight up verbose as hell. So I only took a bit of it because this shit was very long. This is
for the flavor.
Yeah, for the flavor. Okay. This is the part basically where the person picks up the phone. Okay, so a voice that resembles that of an adult male proclaims, "What activity are you currently in the process of completing that involves having my female offspring attend?" You immediately notify your female romantic companion, and she educates you on the objective fact that the paternal guardian that she normally refers to as father has stopped living sometime in the past and is also currently deceased. If the details of the story are in fact the truth, then it is now your duty to answer the question of who is calling you and your romantic companion on your cellular phone. Never let me
the
read
Reddit
again.
Version.
That was the Reddit version. Because, first of all, the verbose edition does make a lot of things redundant, but like,
for sure,
father has stopped living sometime in the past and is also currently deceased is the same thing. It's redundant, but
you can,
whatever.
You kind of have to in the verbose edition there. You really got to like be all in. Yeah, so
that like whole 2-3 sentence was actually an essay by the time that it was completed as a verbose edition.
Right. Yeah.
But Who Was Phone commentates on the use of "but X never existed" story beat that some pastas or stories in general tend to use. Simply but successfully, we get the idea of what Who Was Phone is trying to poke fun at, satirize, or parody. However, it's not the only one that does so. This is where we go back to our friend, the troll pasta. The troll pasta, for the most part, does what it says on the tin. It trolls. It uses existing and very commonly done story tropes and characters and pokes fun at them, sometimes offering a bit of critique within the text itself. While Who Was Phone isn't directly providing critique of the trope that it's playing on, we can sort of tell kind of by just reading it that the curtain isn't just blue for no reason, right? Some of the troll pastas that relate to what we've covered before are Mario Says the Fuck Word, where Mario says fuck after failing a jump randomly in a game.
Real dark.
And then we have Bob.exe, which feels a little bit like the Ben Drowned game, which we covered in episode 4, Sonic.exe covered in episode 14, and then Dying Happy in episode 25. However, Troll Pasta's website doesn't just host troll pastas, as Ben has said before. It also hosts pastas that apparently do not seem up to par with the usual levels of stuff that usually end up on creepypasta, because, we've got standards here on creepypasta.edu. Not sure if you ever mentioned or saw this one when you were doing the Sonic.exe one, but it's worth a refresh. There was apparently an intended first sequel to Sonic.exe that became lost media for a while, which was verified to be written by JC themselves by way of the Wayback Machine. Though I will say that lost media is very lightly used because no one even knew it existed.
No one was looking for this.
No one was looking for it. No one knew it existed until they were getting nosy in the Wayback Machine on creepypasta. It was so badly done that apparently like either JC was like scrub
Gotcha.
or the people at creepypasta were like take the shit down, dude. Stop it. But
no contest for that one.
Yeah, no, we don't need you to rewrite it. JC will rewrite it themselves later on. And that's another tick on the lost media column. We do a lot of callbacks apparently on this episode. If you've studied well enough, if you listen to all our previous episodes, you'll know all of this stuff. But now that we know what a troll pasta is, let's talk about the concept and its relevance to writers and readers. For writers of troll pastas, in my opinion, it offers a way for writers to critique, whether directly or indirectly, callbacks to commonly done tropes such as the creepy seller, aka the person who sells the fucked up game in Bendround or like in Endgame. The ending phrase that sort of is supposed to like creep you out, like in Data is watching, which the last line was, "Go ahead, out your door, I dare you." And then
or Jeff the Killer has "Go to sleep."
Oh, there you go. Jeff the Killer. There you go. That's the ending phrase. And then we have the general creepypasta parody, which is a troll pasta that directly uses the original creepypasta and substitutes it with like cringe stuff. Many others can be used. There's so many other tropes that can be used to create a troll pasta. These can also be used by writers to say like, hey, remember the shitty ass trope and how it was done in that story? If you did it bad, it makes the story shit. If you do it good, it's recognized that it's like a common idea, but it's also like, well, you did it kind of good. Good job. Like, for example, like authors of Mario Says the Fuck Word and Bob.exe used many concepts such as the creepy seller, and then lost media, and do it in a comical way to sort of poke fun at some of the badly done creepypastas of its ilk. For writers of creepypastas, in my opinion, it offers a way for writers to know what's considered cringe or overdone or badly done. It's commentary on how to not do something. You look at a troll pasta, something overly done badly, or a pasta that ended up there because it was badly written, like the original Jeff the Killer iteration, and it sort of tells you what not to do, right? You get the original version of Jeff the Killer and everyone wants it back there, but they're like, oh, it's actually so bad, we got to put it on troll pasta. The writers who enter the contest to rewrite it now know what not to do when they're rewriting it, right? And like Mario Says the Fuck Word is very comical as like a story, but when you read it, you get the sense that this is like how you shouldn't do it. And like, no matter how obvious it is, that like, it's very funny that like the idea of like, oh, you're playing a game very casually and Mario fails a jump and he goes, oh, what the fuck? And then your mom walks in and hears that and you get in trouble because you said fuck. You're kind of like, okay, well, that's fair. I won't do that then when I write my pasta, like no matter how obvious it is, like I just won't do something similar to that, right? And then for consumers of troll pastas and creepy pastas, where's my mouse? I hate this. For consumers of troll pastas and creepy pastas, it gives them the same thing as what it does for writers of creepy pastas, but also like a form of entertainment, right? Something so bad that you have to just look through it. Something so cringe that you just have to keep going. A literary train wreck that you can't look away from. Now I'm kind of like, okay, what was the original creepy, like Jeff the Killer version that was so bad that it needed to be rewritten? I kind of want to see that.
You want to find it.
Yeah, I want to find it because it's, I don't know, like, why was it so bad? I don't know. Parody and satire is also funny for us because for the most part, it's not necessarily a critique of the reader, but the thing that it's parodying or satirizing. We are in on the troll pasta joke for the most part, as you can see from the comments on troll pasta articles. But sometimes we're not. Like, yes, a lot of this stuff means that I'm leaning into the concept of troll pasta as a way to commentate or critique on a concept, whether on purpose or on accident. So whether you're actually writing to critique something by parodying it or just accidentally doing it because being a hater is in your blood and at heart you are a letterboxed user, you're doing some sort of service to writers and audiences. And there I said it, you and your joke writing matters. Let's consider two troll pastas that we're familiar with. Bob, maybe not familiar with, but familiar with the original concept that it's parodying or satirizing. Sure. Bob.exe and Mario Says the Fuck Word. What do both of these pastas make fun of? What does it highlight in its parody and saturation of the concepts? What does it indicate about the story? Is it that overdone? Is it that it's badly done in a lot of it? Or is it that writers need to stop doing it, right? When you take, sometimes when you take in a troll pasta, just take it in for fun, but also like kind of sit through it and be like, okay, so what's,
have your Cornell notes ready.
Yeah, have your Cornell notes ready. Do fold it correctly because we will be reviewing it after. Yeah, like when you take in a troll pasta, consider like the original source material or like whatever it's parodying or satirizing, and kind of go like, okay, what is it saying about this existing concept, right? Mario says the fuck word, which is going to be our example for the most part in this section, which is like, okay, the concept is the person buys a video game, they're playing the video game, and it turns out it's a little weird and something very weird happens to it, and they don't understand what's happening. That is a familiar like theme in a lot of the stories that we see, right? An executable file that has gone weird, a video game that's gone weird. Why is it cringe or semi-bad in this one? But what makes it semi-successful in Ben Drowned? That kind of thing, right? What does it indicate about the story? How do you do this badly? And how do you try and not doing badly, right? So, not sure. Because for me, Ben Drowned was like semi-successful. Like the history of it, there's like a lot of things involving it, but apparently it still does get like made fun of for like the tropey use of like the creepy seller that like now you can't find them. They're selling it because something happened, like the mysterious seller kind of thing. Story tropes and themes exist for a reason, right? We can be heavily saturated by superhero films, fantasy films, films about haunted artifacts, films about haunted houses. Dear David, bad. I had to double barrel the camera for that one. Adam Ellis, you are my enemy. But we can also get versions that absolutely rock us because they kind of maybe step out of the box in some way or take on a trope in a way that we've never seen before, or just do the trope. Like we understand it's a trope, but they do it like well enough that we're like, I recognize this as a trope, a theme, blah, 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 but it was done well enough for me to not be like, ugh, right? If you'd like my opinion on like what type of troll pasta I like the most, it has to be the ones that parody over like the satire ones. Because as a reminder, a parody directly utilizes the original thing to set the story. So think of like the Scary Movie franchise. Those are parodies. They directly use things like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Saw, The Ring, and other films in order to set the story. I think that gets me a bit more than satire, which is a thing that can work on its own. It stands on its own as a concept. Right. Starship Troopers is satire, which I do love. I love Starship Troopers. That is a movie that I have watched in full and did not watch behind the couch when my parents were watching it.
Good movie.
Yeah. But sometimes when you watch satire, you need a bit more explaining when you're watching something like that to say like, hey, it's satire, instead of like, this is generally a movie about like, yeah, serving. Sometimes that's why you get movies that like satire something, but are in the non-comedy space, because satire doesn't necessarily have to be like funny, right? It's just, you get movies that satirize something not in the non-comedy space, but gets fans that take it way too seriously and don't understand that it's making fun of something.
Right. I think there's like, do you watch The Boys? Or have you watched The Boys?
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of it, and then I was like, no, thank you.
I think that, like, this current season 4, a lot of like conservative fans are kind of realizing that they've been making fun of Trump and conservatism.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of kind of like, they've gone woke. What the fuck is this? And it's like, they've always been, it's satire of America. Like, it's making fun of us. It's making fun of you, and it's making fun of like corporations. And that's the thing with satire, is like, not always immediately apparent who's being satirized. Yeah. So sometimes that's why I like parody more, because it's like a lot more obvious. Obviously, like satire is like, you have to work a little bit harder at it to make sure that like the people who are in the know are like, oh, I get it. But the people who are not necessarily in the know can still take away at the end of the thing that like, oh, it was maybe like pointing out or highlighting this thing that's not necessarily like too great about it. Because satire, I think,
context wise, people think that it's always gonna be like a funny, like a comedy nature of it.
Right.
Satire doesn't necessarily have to be like a funny thing. Because I was looking up like examples of satire beyond like Starship Troopers, and The Lobster was on there. And I was like, I've not seen this, so I can't say anything further.
It's not funny, tell you that.
I was like, I was told it was comedy. Yeah. So yeah, satire sometimes gets lost because you need a little bit more explaining for it to stand alone.
Right.
So next time you get a call, make sure you know exactly who is phone, lest you run the risk of being the star of the next troll pasta and badly drawn MS Paint art piece. But yeah, fellas, that's who is phone. That's troll pasta. Once again, we mind melded and did a troll pasta on them.
The shittiest of creepypastas.
The shittiest of creepypastas.
Yeah.
But yeah, who is phone?
Who is phone? So the Mario says fuck. It is just the plot is just that the mom hears it. That's like it was just scary part.
It's very short. That it's just like, hi, I bought a video game, Mario. I was playing it, and one of the jumps I failed, and Mario says like, he doesn't just say like, oh fuck. He like says a whole line of like, oh holy shit, fuck, blah 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 blah, and then the mom walks in on him, playing, and hears like Mario cussing, and the mom's like, what are you doing? And like smacks him around, throws him around, slam dunks him and stuff. So it's like it's quite literally like my mom hears my video game cuss and she thinks it's me and she throws me out the window.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bob.exe is like, I'm really obsessed with Legos and I played a Lego thingy, and it uses a lot of like, and like some of the, I downloaded something, I bought a video game and here's a screenshot of it. It uses that aspect too of like,
fleshes out the world of Bob.
And just like, the Lego head piece, like it suddenly was showing up in my blah, blah, blah. So like,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fun. I'm going to have to check out some troll pastas.
Yeah, you should. Since you are intimately aware of the Sonic.exe thing, I think you should read the original intended sequel.
I think so.
And like be like, why? You will understand then.
Yeah.
Why it was taken down by JC and
I was buried.
Replaced. Yeah, because it was apparently like a direct sequel. Like, it was written like maybe like the same year or a couple months that it was done, and then for a bit everyone was like, does anyone even know that this was actually JC who wrote this versus like someone just making fun of it? And someone in the comments was like, I don't think it's real. And then they come back later like, I went back on Wayback Machine and it's real.
It's real.
Yeah. And I was like, cool. Good job on like looking it up yourself, commenter, instead of just be like, I don't think it's real.
I don't know.
Bye. Yeah. So,
putting the work in. We appreciate you. We see you.
We see you.
We see you. And all the creepypasta authors, I feel like we've done this episode, we've done a fair amount of shitting on things.
Yeah.
And I want to say, like, it's okay to make something that's cringe and a little cliche.
It is.
Just make something. I think that's the most important thing. Don't feel put off by, the trolls and the haters and, people that are going to shit on your work, like us. Because we're just making stuff too. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
We're making shit.
We're making a podcast, baby. We're just making shit.
And I assure you that Ben and I will still read it no matter what. Like, we're still going to consume it, and we will appreciate the work that was put into it. Because could I write a story? No, I don't have the guts and the skill.
It takes bravery, and we don't want to dissuade anybody from creating stuff.
Yeah,
because I think it's a good thing. It's a good practice for you, even if that thing is you slipped on a bar of soap and poured acid on your face and went crazy and then bleached your face with hydrogen peroxide.
Maybe like
that's your truth.
Live your truth. Like maybe
live your truth.
I know it might get you put on some lists, but like, maybe you could like research like what are some ways people have like had accidents? Maybe like I know, okay. Listen, freak accidents occur,
right? Yeah,
but maybe like don't do a freak accident in like a creepypasta, because then people will be like, "Yo, that's that would never happen. That's such a freak accident. Like maybe like arguably, yes, you can be carrying like a vat of acid, but like maybe like not at home. Maybe like I was working at my job and I'm a janitor who, do you know that people who work crime scenes, they are hired not by the police, but by the people who actually live in the places that these things happen. One time I was carrying a vat of acid to clean up this pile of things. Like contextualize your freak accident where that makes a little bit more sense.
Or if you're ripping out the Joker, then just have yourself fall into a vat of acid, just like the Joker. It's fine. That's an old school Joker. Most people think of the Heath Ledger one. Go with the OG. Fall into Joker chemical.
Of the Heath Ledger one too. Were you satirizing me, Ben? Is this play about me? But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's like, but you know, also like whatever. We don't write creepypastas. We don't write stories. We write little essays that we were trained with ever since we stepped into second grade. I don't know.
That's right. We don't have the creative juice. We don't got the juice to make a creepypasta.
We can do one funny one-liner at a time.
That's the best we can ever hope for.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope the creamies appreciate our work. If we're being fed into our own mill where someone's going to find our podcast and shit on it.
Yeah.
And the cycle of internet shit will continue.
The internet shitting. Oh my God. I hope it's like for me, you probably should be like, oh my God, JD uses way too many run-on sentences. JD writes in stream of consciousness.
I'm guilty of that. All those as well.
JD likes to start every single thing by making fun of Ben in one weird way or another.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like when you put stuff out there, it's out there for criticism, and it's gonna happen. But
JD's got to deal with that in a month or
Ben's
so.
got to deal with that. We all got it. Yeah.
In a month or so, JD, friend of the podcast, is to deal with that. But we appreciate the creators of the world as much as the world tries to stop you from creating by making you work a 9 to 5 in order to exist.
That's
Creating deeply matters, no matter how cringe it is, because it is a form of you growing. And maybe after you create this cringe, you'll make something better in like 5 more stories. So it's like, hell yeah,
keep going. You gotta. Everyone thinks they're gonna come out the fucking gates with a masterpiece. Probably not gonna happen. You gotta get through a lot of chaff before you get to the wheat, baby. You gotta keep it moving. And we're creating, and I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. But yeah. This episode was written and produced by Ben and JD. For all our sources, please head to the website in the description below. If you'd like to reach out with a comment, suggestion, share an experience with one of our topics today. If you are the creator of the images of the original Jeff the Killer, I don't know what the name is, of that image file, send us a message at icecreamymeme@gmail.com. All the music for the podcast is provided by Younger Frank. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye!